Most people aren't broke because of debt. They're broke because they're addicted to their next paycheck. That statement may sound harsh at first, but it explains why so many hard-working people never seem to get ahead financially. Every 2 weeks, money arrives, bills get paid, spending increases, the account balance drops. Then the countdown begins until the next paycheck arrives. This cycle repeats month after month and year after year. The paycheck becomes more than income. It becomes a lifeline. Many people believe their financial problems would disappear if they earned more money. Unfortunately, millions of high-income earners still live paycheck to paycheck. The problem is often not income. The problem is dependency. When every dollar that arrives already has a purpose, financial stress remains regardless of how much money is earned. Another important lesson is understanding that paycheck addiction is rarely intentional. Most people never wake up and decide to become financially dependent on every paycheck. It happens gradually. A few recurring bills appear. A vehicle payment is added. A larger home becomes necessary. More subscriptions accumulate. Lifestyle spending increases. Before long, every future paycheck has already been spent before it arrives. Another major issue is that paycheck dependency creates vulnerability. A missed paycheck becomes a crisis. An unexpected expense creates panic. A job loss feels catastrophic. Wealthy individuals frequently focus on building financial distance between themselves and their next paycheck. They understand that financial freedom begins when income stops controlling daily decisions. The goal is not avoiding work. The goal is creating enough flexibility that your life is not entirely dependent on the next deposit hitting your bank account. That shift changes everything. One of the biggest reasons paycheck addiction is so dangerous is because it creates the illusion of financial stability. As long as the paycheck keeps arriving, everything appears to be fine. Bills are paid, groceries are purchased, debt payments are made. Life continues moving forward. The problem is that stability built entirely on future paychecks is fragile. If income stops unexpectedly, the entire financial structure can begin collapsing almost immediately. Another important lesson is understanding that paycheck addiction often disguises itself as success. Someone may earn a respectable income. They may drive a newer vehicle. They may live in a desirable neighborhood. They may appear financially comfortable from the outside. Yet beneath the surface, every dollar of future income is already committed. Wealthy individuals frequently measure financial strength differently. They focus on flexibility. They focus on reserves. They focus on how long they could maintain their lifestyle without receiving another paycheck. Another major issue is lifestyle inflation. Most people increase spending every time income increases. A raise creates additional obligations rather than additional freedom. A larger paycheck becomes a larger mortgage. A promotion becomes a more expensive vehicle. More income creates more recurring expenses. Financial pressure remains because obligations grow at the same pace as earnings. Another critical lesson is understanding that freedom comes from the gap between income and spending. The larger the gap becomes, the less dependent someone is on the next paycheck. That gap creates options. It creates security. It creates opportunities. Paycheck addiction survives when every dollar earned immediately leaves the account. Financial freedom begins when part of every paycheck stays behind to strengthen your future. Wealthy individuals often focus on expanding that gap intentionally because they understand that the goal is not simply earning money. The goal is creating distance between today's decisions and tomorrow's paycheck. Another major reason people remain addicted to paychecks is because modern financial systems encourage immediate consumption. Every advertisement promotes spending. Every financing offer promises affordability. Every subscription service emphasizes convenience. Consumers are constantly encouraged to think about what they can buy today rather than what they can build tomorrow. This environment makes paycheck dependency feel normal. Another important lesson is understanding that most people never realize how much future income they have already promised away. Housing payments consume one portion, vehicle payments consume another. Credit cards claim another share. Subscriptions, memberships, and recurring bills continue taking more. Before long, the paycheck arrives already divided into obligations. Wealthy individuals often reverse this process. Instead of assigning every dollar to consumption, they assign a portion toward ownership. Investments receive funding. Savings receive funding. Emergency reserves receive funding. Future opportunities receive funding. Another major principle is understanding opportunity cost. Every dollar spent today loses the ability to create future value. $100 spent impulsively cannot simultaneously become an investment. It cannot strengthen financial security. It cannot increase future flexibility. Another important lesson is that paycheck addiction is often emotional rather than mathematical. People become accustomed to spending patterns that feel normal. They associate higher spending with higher success. Breaking that pattern requires a shift in thinking. Wealthy individuals frequently ask different questions. Instead of asking what they can afford today, they ask what financial options they want tomorrow. That simple change creates dramatically different outcomes over time. Financial freedom is not built by maximizing consumption. It is built by maximizing flexibility. The less dependent someone becomes on their next paycheck, the more control they gain over their future decisions, opportunities, and lifestyle. The path out of paycheck addiction begins with creating financial breathing room. Most people attempt to solve financial stress by earning more money. While higher income can certainly help, income alone does not eliminate dependency. Many high earners remain trapped because spending continues expanding alongside earnings. Another important lesson is that financial freedom is often built through systems rather than income. Wealthy individuals frequently automate positive financial behavior. Savings happen automatically. Investing happens automatically. Debt reduction happens automatically. This approach removes emotional decision-making from the process. Another major principle is paying yourself first. Most consumers save whatever remains at the end of the month. Unfortunately, very little usually remains. Wealthy individuals often reverse this process. The moment income arrives, a portion is directed toward future goals before spending begins. Another important lesson is understanding the power of emergency reserves. Emergency funds create distance between life events and financial panic. They reduce dependence on credit cards. They reduce stress during unexpected situations. Most importantly, they reduce dependency on the next paycheck. Another major issue is that people often underestimate how quickly small improvements can compound. A few $100s saved each month may not feel significant initially. Over time, those savings create flexibility. Flexibility creates confidence. Confidence improves decision-making. Better decisions create stronger financial outcomes. Another critical lesson is that escaping paycheck addiction does not happen overnight. It happens gradually through consistent actions repeated month after month. Every dollar saved increases options. Every debt reduced increases flexibility. Every investment funded increases future freedom. Progress may feel slow initially, but consistency eventually creates momentum. That momentum becomes one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. The truth is that paycheck addiction is one of the most overlooked financial problems in modern society. Most people blame debt, inflation, low wages, or unexpected expenses for their financial stress. While those factors certainly matter, dependency on the next paycheck often sits at the center of the problem. Every future paycheck becomes a requirement rather than an opportunity. Financial decisions become reactive instead of intentional. Wealthy individuals understand that financial freedom begins when income stops controlling every aspect of life. Another important lesson is understanding that freedom is not measured by income alone. It is measured by flexibility. Someone with modest income and strong savings may have more financial freedom than someone earning six figures while living paycheck to paycheck. Another major principle is building systems that reduce dependency over time. Savings systems, investing systems, debt reduction systems, cash flow systems. These structures quietly create freedom while most people continue focusing only on income. Another important lesson is that financial progress rarely looks dramatic. It often looks boring. Automatic transfers, controlled spending, consistent saving, patient investing. None of those actions appear exciting, yet they are often the exact behaviors that separate financially secure individuals from those trapped in constant financial pressure. Another critical lesson is understanding that every paycheck should create future freedom rather than future obligations. Build reserves, reduce debt, increase ownership, protect cash flow, create flexibility. The goal is not avoiding work. The goal is making sure your future is not completely dependent on the next payday. If this helped, like and subscribe to the Daily Yield, because we're building real financial progress, one step at a time.